okay, AI is here. And the reason I'm feeling so grumpy about it is because I'm afraid of the change this is going to bring for my business, for our society, for our future. And I was like, probably instead of getting all grumpy about it, it's more productive to get curious about it and figure out how can we use AI, make AI work for us in a way that aligns with us.
Have you ever thought, I am not sure about this AI thing. I don't think it can ever sound like me. My guest today is Kinsey Soderberg, and she's the founder of Authentic AI and a trusted voice for women entrepreneurs who want to use AI in a way that is strategic and aligned. She helps business owners build smarter, human-first AI-powered systems so they can streamline their work, amplify their creativity, and grow without burning out. We had a really cool conversation about how to make sure that we can implement AI into our business and make it sound more like us. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Accidental CEO podcast. I'm your host, Nata Salvatore, and today I have a very smart, sweet, powerful friend with us, Kinsey Soderberg, who is going to talk about AI, which, has been a lot in the news this year. We've talked about AI a ton in 2025, and I know it's only going to get bigger and better in 2026. So I wanted to bring her on to have this conversation about how to make sure that we are using AI the right way and that we are incorporating it in our business to make things efficient and to serve our clients better. So welcome, Kinsey.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So I wanted to start by just sharing maybe your accidental CEO story with everybody. Like, how do we end up being the business owner that talks about AI? And I know you have a little bit of a origin story with AI that is very fascinating. You went from being a little skeptical of AI to being, building this whole AI empire is what I'm going to call it. I wanted to hear that story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, so funny. And it is really funny too, because of course I didn't start out building a business around AI. Actually, my business officially started back in 2018 before ChatGPT was even a thing that normal people had heard of, right? And so I had kind of like two origin stories where that first story, the first business that I created kind of fell in my lap again. I actually had met my now husband. I had been working as a ski bum waitress in Breckenridge, Colorado. And I met my husband. We did that whole thing where we're like, should we quit our jobs and travel Asia for 6 months sort of thing? And so that's what we did. When we got back from Asia, I got a job at another restaurant, and I was telling the woman about how I had wanted to be an Instagram blogger star and like keep traveling the world, and it didn't work out, whatever. But she looked at me and she's like, oh, you know how to do blogging and social media? Can you do ours? Right. And so that's how my business officially started, very much on accident, kind of plopping in my lap. I started doing social media blogging for the restaurant I worked at. I started gaining clients via word of mouth. I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to make this business thing legit. Since then, 2018, I was really just like trudging along for 4 years, building my business, trying to figure out what I love, trying to figure out my perspectives, my thought leadership, all the different things, throwing spaghetti against the wall, of course. And then actually almost 3 years ago at this point, I first heard about ChatGPT and AI. And I like to tell people when I first heard about it, I was a total curmudgeon because I was so like grumpy. I always like to think I was like a grumpy grandpa, like shaking my fist at the sky, being like, isn't the internet fake enough as it is? What's this going to do to our creativity or critical thinking? Are robots going to take over the world? Like all those, I call them the AI scaries, ran through my brain. But then I did have like a come to Jesus moment in a way where I was like on a long drive and I had that epiphany after doing a bunch of thinking. And I was like, okay, AI is here. And the reason I'm feeling so grumpy about it is because I'm afraid of the change this is going to bring for my business, for our society, for our future. And I was like, probably instead of getting all grumpy about it, it's more productive to get curious about it and figure out how can we use AI, make AI work for us in a way that aligns with us. So that's when I decided to start Well, I called my sister brand at the time Authentic AI, and I started growing my two businesses side by side together for about a year. And then after about a year and a half, I was like, you know what? This AI thing is working for me. And so I decided to lean fully into AI, and now that's what I do.
I love that. So it's funny because I had such an opposite reaction when, and now about, about the same time that you discovered AI, I started playing with it a little bit. And I remember the first time I used ChatGPT, I was blown away. I couldn't sleep for like 2 to 3 days. My mind was just going everywhere. I'm like, oh, the possibilities, look at this thing and all I can do. And I just couldn't sleep. I was just so excited to use AI, and I started consuming a lot of information on it and studying and listening to podcasts and reading articles. And I still do that a lot. I try to keep up with everything that is new around it. And I think it's such an amazing tool. But then again, there's all these guardrails and it's these things that we're going to talk about today that we need to consider. But, at the end of the day, it's not going anywhere. And it's better to be part of that change. Change is scary and uncomfortable for most people, but it's better to be part of the change and understand where things are going and how can we build support for our businesses around that than to just stay back and be grumpy, right? And then find out later that we are not able to keep up with everything because we were so resistant. So if nothing else, we invite you to be curious and just learn what's out there and what is available and see how you can make it fit in the way that you do business authentically and ethically, which is, again, what Kinsey is all about. So how does your background in that brand strategy and maybe some creative education kind of shape the way that you teach AI to entrepreneurs right now?
I'm definitely a logical step-by-step thinker in how am I using this tool? One of the biggest concerns that I had when it came to using AI was, oh my gosh, a robot can't write an email for me. It's never going to be able to write my personality or understand my brand and all that different stuff. And yeah, that's an issue for a lot of people when they come to using AI, is that they just start using the tool without giving the tool any context about your brand, your personality, your values, your perspectives, all those things that make you unique and really who you are. And so I started thinking about how can we actually train AI to think and sound like us? Like, what information do we need to share with these tools so that it can really understand who we are and help us work in and produce the work that we would have only 10 times faster, right? So that's like the first step. And then when it comes to teaching people how to use the tools, I always try to keep it like super simple, easygoing, step by step, actionable. I think that's just who I am as a person. And also, it's like how I understand the world. And so I like to be able to take this artificial intelligence, this thing that sounds super complex, and like, how can we break this down into easy, manageable steps? And how can we not focus on learning the tool, learning AI, but instead focus on what we can do with these tools and how we can do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it and make sure that people feel a little bit more comfortable with going into it because it can be pretty scary and overwhelming. I think overwhelming is probably more of a reality than it is scary, unless you're listening to some of the podcasts that I'm listening to sometimes. There's some scary things out there when it comes to AI, and we need to be able to kind of shift through what is true and what is not on our own. But that's a whole other podcast. But I think it's good to understand to focus on the right thing. And I know one of the things you do at Authentic AI is really focusing on keeping the AI human first. So can you explain a little bit more what that means to you and why it matters so much for entrepreneurs today?
Yes, yes. I love teaching the human first approach, is what I call it. Thanks for shouting that out. It's kind of thinking about, a lot of people will start using a tool like ChatGPT, and they'll open up the tool and they'll be like, write me a social media caption. And they'll expect the tool to know exactly what's right, to know how to do that in the best way, to know what the best like things are to include in the caption and all that stuff, because they think of AI as this know all be all tool, right? And then also too, a lot of people are somewhat obsessed with getting the prompt perfect, right? Like becoming a prompt master. How can I improve my prompts, I like to somewhat flip that concept on its head where I don't even actually teach prompting that much, right? I instead start most of my conversations with ChatGPT with a brain dump, a brain download, if you will, where literally I will like open up a new conversation and I will just like type as fast as I can, whatever the heck is on my mind for like 2 minutes, right? Even. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's definitely not spelled correctly. It does not have correct grammar, not even full sentences often. I just like let my swirling thoughts out into the tool. And I just like share whatever the heck I think the tool needs to know about my brand, my perspective, the task at hand in order to be able to help me in the best way, right? I think brain dumping and then asking, now can you help me turn this into a social media caption? Or now can you help me outline an action plan or whatever it is so, so helpful because it starts with the human, right? It starts with you. AI can do an amazing job for you. It can help you with so many things. It can help you do the tasks you would have done anyway, only 10 times faster. But it needs to know your perspective, or else you're just going to get frustrated with it. So, starting with you, human first, giving that to the tool, your ideas, thoughts, perspective, language. For example, with a social media caption, if you say, I'd like to write a social media caption about this topic, here's my perspective on it, here's an opinion I have on it, here are the tips I want to include in this, here's the call to action that I want you to point towards for this, like telling it that and then saying, write me this caption. It's going to do such a better job for you than if you were just like, write me a social media caption and like, that's it, right?
Yeah, what I tell my clients a lot is you have to think of AI just like you would an employee. If you were to hire somebody to write copy for you tomorrow to start building social media posts, you wouldn't just call them and be like, build me captions for this post. Like they wouldn't have no idea how to write in your voice, how to make sure that it's connected to the brand and your offers and all that. So you have to give it information. It's almost like giving that new employee their employee manual, right? They need to know what the company's about and what are the do's and don'ts. What are the things that are not allowed in the company? What are the things that are part of the vision, mission, and values of the company? So all of those things are important, which brings us back to giving context to that tool. So I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that vague prompt that lead to generic AI outputs. And, you hear a lot in the AI world, like garbage in, garbage out, right? And that's very valid. So you talked about a little bit of some advice for people that want to make sure the AI sound like them. But is there anything else that maybe we could add to that conversation to make sure that we are really giving it a chance to sound like us and make sure that it produces things that match our brand and our business?
Oh, yes, girl. I actually have a whole framework for this if you want me to share it. Because this is something that I nerd out about just with my own branding and messaging background. I love it, especially getting to the core of who your brand really is, not just like the generic mission statement necessarily, but diving deep into all the different facets that make your brand who it is, right? Really thinking about your brand as a person and how can we encompass this personality and share this with our AI assistant in a way it understands. So one of my favorite things to do with business owners is the very first step is creating what I call an AI brand blueprint. It's a document. I host it on Google Drive, really easy. Mine is like 80 pages, you guys. So it's like a book. But I will say, like, ChatGPT, if you go through this process with ChatGPT, it can help you create a brand blueprint for your brand within like 4 hours, right? So it's so amazing.
Mine is only 18 pages, so I'm missing something right there.
Oh, girl. Well, you already know that I am a talker. So you can imagine what my brand blueprint looks like. But okay,
So
I
side,
do.
side note, this tells a lot about how the two of us work. We were just having a conversation before we jumped into the podcast and we were talking about how we write emails, which is again, so it's just to proves the point, right? So we both use AI to help us write our emails. And my emails are very short and concise and to the point because that's how I am. Like I give quick feedback. I value and like my time is like very short. And a lot is based on me and my behavior and a lot of the people I work with. And we don't have time. We're like time crunch people. We have a lot going on. So I want to make sure that you look at those emails real quick and it's in and out and we're done. And then Kinsey's emails are awesome because they have so much information in there and a lot of value and a lot of context. And we were just saying how we do appreciate each other's emails and styles, and we're both using AI to support us writing those. So he proves the point that we can make sure that these things actually sound like us and mimic our stuff, even though we're both using AI to help us write our emails.
Yes. Yeah. And we are so different. And I love that so much. And it's hilarious that your brand blueprint is, of course, like 18 pages and mine is, you know what, 80 pages, but that's great. But okay, so for the brand blueprint, I like to follow what I call the vibes framework. And it's VIBES. It's the 5 core strategies that make your brand what it is, who it is, all those things. You can, of course, go a little bit lighter if you want to. You don't have to do the full on vibes framework to get AI to sound more like you. But if you do this entire thing, like this is how I found to literally get ChatGPT to like immediately understand who you are and be able to work like an assistant that's been working with you for 5 years and knows your business almost as well as you, right? So the vibes framework, 5 core categories, like I said, V is values and vision, of course. It's the foundational elements of your brand, your mission, vision, values, opinions, beliefs, everything that kind of makes your brand who it is that you build off of, right? Then we have your ideal customers, of course, because ChatGPT needs to know exactly who we're speaking to and who we are strategizing for when we use it for our businesses. So that's going deeper than just demographics and even lifestyle psychographics. Like, yeah, we want to include that, but it's also including those pain points that your customers are struggling with, the desires that you help them achieve. And then another thing I like to include with ideal customers is your relationship with your ideal customers as a brand, right? So their relationship to you. Do they think of you as more of like a motherly figure or a teacher, educator, or a best friend, right? Like the relationship style is helpful in allowing ChatGPT to understand how we're speaking to them as well. Then we have our B, brand, voice, and writing style, of course. And this is where you really tell it your brand's personality, diving deeper than just write in a friendly tone of voice. If you think of the word friendly, that's like one of the most generic descriptive words that we could use. Like your brand is not basic, okay? So we need to dive deep into nailing those perfect descriptive words that really get to the core of your personality, as well as not just your personality, but also your writing style, right? Your formatting style, the length, as we were just talking about. Even your humor style really goes into your brand voice, which if ChatGPT can understand how you crack a joke, it makes such a freaking difference when it writes captions for you, you know? And then we have our ecosystem, our offer ecosystem. And this is the one that I think a lot of people don't necessarily do, but I found that it is so, so helpful when it comes to getting ChatGPT to understand how your business works and like can strategize for you, right? So if you tell ChatGPT about your offer ecosystem from your free lead magnets all the way up through your paid offers, and it understands not just what the offers are, but how they fit together. Like if one lead magnet leads nicely into an offer or one offer leads nicely to an upsell for a higher offer. When ChatGPT understands that strategy, man, it can help you plan your monthly content calendars. It can help you plan sales or launches. It can help you even just very quickly write a caption that naturally leads to a call to action for X freebie or something like that, right? You don't have to repeat yourself or over explain yourself every time. Finally, the S in the vibes framework is your signature messaging, of course, because this really is how your brand stands out online. It's what you share again and again, and it's what you want to become known for in your thought leadership, right? So this is like your content themes or your messaging themes, the things that you could just talk people's ears off for days. It's also your polarizing opinions. So if you have an opinion that makes you a little different than the rest, like ChatGPT needs to know that, firstly, because if you don't tell it your polarizing opinions, then it's just going to have it's going to assume that your opinions are going with the grain, right? But when you share your polarizing opinions with ChatGPT, it can take that and run with it for days, which is amazing. And then the biggest key aspect that, again, a lot of people don't think about when it comes to signature messaging is your brand storytelling. Brand storytelling is so, so important. It always has been for adding personality to your brand. When you tell stories, you actually make your brand more relatable. You make your customers feel more like attuned and magnetic to you, right? And also, brand storytelling can be really, really helpful for selling, actually, for being persuasive, for lots of different things. So, brand storytelling is huge when it comes to branding and marketing in general. And then when it comes to ChatGPT, ChatGPT cannot know your lived experiences. It cannot know your customers' lived experiences. But if you tell your brand stories to ChatGPT, if you share client transformation, if you share how and why you started your business, if you share everyday anecdotes like, oh my gosh, this happened to me the other day, ChatGPT, it was hilarious, then ChatGPT can actually take that information, understand your personality and your life story a little better, but then also regurgitate that into the content that it creates for you and all that stuff. And that's how you can keep ChatGPT's output personal without like sacrificing any of your authenticity, but still use it to help you create content so much more quickly, right?
This episode is sponsored by the CEO Method, my proven system to help founders let go without things falling apart. Inside, you nail what to delegate, set a clear definition of done, and run a weekly rhythm that frees your calendar while keeping standards high. If you want a 3-day CEO schedule and a team that moves without handholding, go to accidentalceo.co/delegate-course. That's accidentalceo.co/delegate-course. Amazing. So the vibes framework to build your brand book. And that's really the bread and butter of making sure that things are authentic to you, and how we can both, being so different, use AI to help us and still get outputs that are very much like us, because we're not going superficial and generic and just open ChatGPT and using that main chat to like come up with stuff for us. So I feel like a lot of people are using AI at a very superficial level, and they sometimes don't even know. They get mad at, the tools because they're not getting the right output, or it's not remembering things that they talked about before. And if you're not building the structure to help it help you, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be frustrating and it's going to be low quality output. So thank you so much for sharing this whole framework with us. I think that's so helpful. And there was definitely a couple of things in there that I'm missing, which is why I don't have 80 pages just yet, but we'll be updating. We will be updating.
You'll have to let me know what yours gets up to, because I have a feeling we could probably get you up to like 50, 60 pages.
We can probably expand. I love that. Awesome. So a lot of people feel guilty or a little suspicious about using AI, just like you were in the beginning. A lot of people feel like it's cheating, right? So how do you help these entrepreneurs shift that mindset and really understand how helpful and transformational this can be?
I really appreciate this question, because it's something that I think a lot of times, especially women entrepreneurs, if we're honest, especially women entrepreneurs feel a little weird about using it, or like they'll use it and they'll be like, this feels like too easy. Should I trust this? Or this feels like cutting corners, or like, am I devaluing my work in using these tools, right? Like that sort of thing. And a lot of these feelings will come up, but like we can't really like put words to them, or we don't even realize they're happening until we really think about it, right? So this actually came up to me. I still remember the first time a woman, she was interviewing me for her podcast about AI stuff. She'd been interviewing me, asking for tips and tricks and different things. And then all of a sudden she looked at me and she's like, oh, I have another question for you. So what do you say to the women who feel guilty using AI? And I was like, oh, this is a thing. And it really hit me, especially because she said, what do you say to the women who feel guilty? And it made me realize that this is one of those societal things in a way that is so much bigger than AI, right? Women have always had to work twice as hard to earn half the respect. We've had to show that we're working hard to be worthy of success we see. And so, of course, using AI feels a little bit weird or scary or nerve-wracking, like you might not be respected anymore if you put work out into the world that you didn't do, necessarily. And I'm doing quotations for anyone who's listening to this. That's why often, yes, women are more hesitant to use the tools than men. We hold ourselves back and we get picky and choosy with the tasks that we allow AI to help us with, right? But then I heard another statistic that men are twice as likely to use AI tools as women. And this is an issue because if you think of the terms of the workplace and business in general, if more men are using AI than women, well, AI tools have been proven to boost your productivity by 40%, which is like working 2 extra days per week. So if more men are getting more work done every week, who's more likely to get that promotion, that pay raise? The gender income gap is going to dramatically increase instead of decrease like we've been working at for years. And on top of that, right now, AI tools are trained by the people who are using them. So whenever you go to ChatGPT and you're like, hey, help me with this, or hey, this is what I'm thinking, or hey, help me write this email, here's my brand's voice and perspective and blah, 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 then you are actually telling this tool, this is who I am, this is what I care about. And that tool is taking that and being like, oh, generally women use this sort of language. We have this sort of empathy. We care about these things, right? So when you use AI as a woman, you're actually helping to train these tools to represent women better, which is so necessary, especially thinking about moving into the future where AI is very, very influential now, and it's going to continue gaining influence and momentum moving into our future, right? And women need to be represented in these tools. In general, women are a little bit more empathetic often. Often, women are more likely to reinvest our time, energy, and money into the things that we care about, not just for ourselves, but for the collective. And so if you care about the environment, if you care about your children's future, if you care about power structures and politics or anything like that, just using AI tools is truly, truly helpful in influencing the future of those things, actually. I might have gone off on a tangent, but...
No, I love that you mentioned this. It is so true. I actually just released an episode on December 24th. So go look for it if you guys want to take a look at it. It talks about the audacity gap between female and male business owners. And it does have a call to action in there for us to be more proactive and really have more audacity when it comes to business, because we have so much to offer and we're missing the opportunity in so many ways. And using AI is just one more way that we are right now in a gap that we can bridge. Like we can take action and be proactive and make sure that we don't stay behind on this. So we, again, invite you to be curious and, if nothing else, play with it. Go try it out. Go take a look. So if someone is listening and they could take only one action today, there's one thing for them to do to start using AI more authentically in their business, what should they do and why?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to keep this super simple and also helpful for anyone, no matter where you're at with using AI. Okay. So if you have never used it before, this will work for you. And if you are an avid AI user, I still want to recommend that you do this because it's fun. So literally, I just want you to start a ChatGPT account. It's free if you haven't yet. Open up chatgpt.com, literally start a new chat and just set a timer on your phone and brain dump whatever the heck is on your mind right now. Like, what are you thinking about? What is nagging at your brain right now? That could be a business task. Maybe you need to organize your to-do list or you have lots of different things happening. Maybe you want to deep dive into a specific project that you have and or a crazy future idea that has just been nagging at your brain, but you're like, I don't have time for this. Like, okay, well, let's get that out of your brain. Let's put this into the robot to help us like put a placeholder in that for now. But literally just like type as fast as you can into ChatGPT for 2 minutes. Do not worry about complete sentences, correct spelling, anything like that. No one's going to read this except a robot, and the robot will be able to decipher it. Don't worry. After that, just hit enter and see what ChatGPT comes back with, like at you with, right? If you want next actions, the next thing you can say is like, can you help me do X, or and like make something up, or like, how might you be able to help me with this? ChatGPT will have a lot of ideas. Do not worry. But that's one of those ways I think is like just super, super easy to start a conversation, to get the ideas out of your brain and into a tool that can literally just help you in so many ways, even if it's just organizing your thoughts and or it can help you take the actions that you need to take in order to do the thing, right? But super, super easy way. I like to make a daily practice of it. If we're honest, every morning I'm just like, here's what I'm thinking, ChatGPT, just to get my jumbled thoughts out of my head and into the freaking robot so I can actually focus on my tasks, right? But it's so, so helpful in so many ways. And it really opens up so many opportunities to allow AI to help you to do so many things.
It's so good. Yeah. I mean, it can see patterns that we sometimes are blind to. Is such a good help. And I don't know if you do this, but one thing I've been doing a lot in the last few months is instead of just typing everything, I just use the little mic icon to transcribe it. And I just speak to it and it transcribes into text and puts it in there, which makes me move a lot faster. Because again, we do have a lot to say. And sometimes typing this whole thing can be a little tiring. So, make good use of the tools that are in there. So,
oh, yeah. I'm so glad you brought up the voice mode because I often forget to say that. But like the voice mode is so nice and easy. And also, it's so funny. It works on your computer or your phone, by the way, guys, because I keep forgetting to use it on my computer. And sometimes I'm just like typing super fast. I'm like, I can't get it out fast enough. I'm like, why don't I just use the freaking microphone? I'll forget to use it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
I love that. The last thing I want to talk about is our amazing workshop that we are putting together for everybody. So we are joining our amazing, crazy brains that are very unique, but complement each other very well. You guys know I work a lot with, freedom first leadership and teaching people how to do less, be less of the hero in 24/7 their business and be more of the CEO. And I am a user of AI. I love AI. I've been using for many, many years. And together with Kinsey, who is our AI queen, we're putting together a Build Your Bot Live workshop for you in Denver, Colorado on March 5th. So we are inviting you guys to join us. And what makes this special, Kinsey?
Oh, I'm so stoked, you guys, because this workshop is going to be so great. It's a full day in-person small group workshop. And literally, Nata and I are going to be in the room with you. You'll get Nata's amazing expertise when it comes to delegation, structuring, thinking about different back-end things in your business. And I'll be leading you through the steps of creating your custom GPT for your business, built on your workflows, frameworks, tasks, strategies, perspectives, brand, all the things. We'll make sure that the spot feels like you and can help you with an actual task that you repeat every day or week or month in your business. Like whatever task it is that you are just wanting to do a little faster, speed up, whatever that looks like, we'll make sure that we are focusing on that so that you leave the workshop with a bot built for you, built by you, with the help of me and Nata. And one of the things I love too about this being an in-person workshop is that like being in the room together means that like you're bringing your laptop and I can literally look over your shoulder. I can literally like help you tweak these different instructions and these different things. Nata can literally look at all of the systems, workflow structures that you have in place. And so it's going to be highly personalized, highly actionable, and it's going to be so freaking fun.
I can't wait. Like we hear a lot from people, oh, I wish somebody could just show me how to do this. Like I'm falling behind. I want to learn more, but I can't do it on my own. So we wanted to come together in person in a room because, the information is out there online and it has been out there for a long time. And a lot of people have a hard time implementing it and actually getting it done. So we wanted to bring you and other amazing business owners together in person to look over your shoulder, to make sure that you live with all the structure that you need and the confidence that you need to start using AI in your business. We do have some VIP ticket offers that is going to offer even additional support after the workshop for you. So we're very excited for that. And for you guys who are listening to the podcast, we have a special gift for you. We're going to have a link here on the show notes for 10% off your ticket to the workshop. So if you're listening, stop and go look at those show notes and grab that ticket. We only going to have 20 attendees max. So this is a very intimate workshop. It's not going to be this huge room full of people. Because it's the two of us, we want to make sure that we have a lot of one-on-one time with each one of you. So we are capping it at 20 people max. So we want you to be there.
Yay. Yes, please come hang out with us, guys. It's going to be amazing.
All right, so I'm going to try to start a new tradition on the podcast, and Kinsey is my first victim. She's going to be my guinea pig for this. So I actually got a deck of cards. If you're watching the video, I'm gonna pop it up here for us. And it's like some deep conversation kind of prompts. So I'm gonna pull a random card. I haven't looked at this card at all, and I'm gonna ask her this question, and we'll see what she has for us. So all right, here it is. When you imagine your happy place, where is it and what are you doing there?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I feel like I got the best card.
Great one.
Yeah. Okay. My happy place is literally like on top of a mountain, right? And it makes sense. I don't know if we have any human design nerds out there, but my environment in human designs is mountain. So, like, literally, that means that I think better at a higher altitude, which is hilarious. And I live in Colorado. So, like, it works for me. I love hiking to the top of things. I love being able to see down and like see things from a different perspective and kind of see all the things in life working together in that way. And I think it works well for my business and an analogy too, right? But my happy place is definitely on top of a mountain, and I either hiked up to get there, probably passed some mountain goats on the way there, probably went with my doggo. And or in the wintertime, I might be on some skis and I might be about to ski down that mountain. So that's my happy place.
Oh, that is so awesome. You will never see me there, Kinsey.
Yeah, that is okay. We're very different. Where is your happy place, Nata?
I'll see you at the bottom when you finish skiing. You get to the bottom of it. I do like hiking. Walking and hiking is fun, but going up too much, I'm already up there. I'm 6'2", so I already even live in the heights.
You already live at the high altitude?
I already live at the high altitude. My happy place. Oh my gosh, where's my happy place? I love looking at the water. I don't have to be in the water, but like, I think mountains are cool. I love when I go travel. I don't need to live there. I think I appreciate it more when I'm not there all the time. So if you guys don't know, I'm in Florida, so very flat Florida. I don't love the beach, but I love water. So I like to be able to like maybe sit on the porch and sip on some coffee or tea and look into water. So that feels like a happy place to me. And believe it or not, I'm the kind of person who I might not like something, but I'll do it for the company. So we're actually having a ski trip in March with our kids, and I hate skiing and I hate the cold, and I'm going with our friends and their kids, and I go for the company, and I would just hang out and help with the kids. And my only request is that we have a hot tub.
Yep. I was going to say, ski vacations are great for skiing, but they're also great for sitting by the fire with a cozy book and a drink, or like go into the hot tub. Hot tubs when it's cold outside are so nice.
They are awesome. So yeah, that's it. So if people want to work with you and have you help them through the process of integrating AI into their business, where do they find you?
Yes. I hang out mostly on Instagram, and it's at authenticai.co is my Instagram handle. I also have a website, which is also authenticai.co, just so you know. Both are now seamless. This is actually a New Year housekeeping thing, guys. So I'm streamlining everything under the same name to make it easier to find.
I love that. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I know it's very needed, and I hope this ignited some fire under somebody's bottom to go be curious and start integrating AI into their business. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nata Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.